I want to start with a question. Do you have eternal purpose in your everyday living? Do you have meaning every day you wake up? You can't wait to wake up and have the day with Him. Do you have excitement every morning when you wake up? Because Jesus wants to encounter you. And He wants you to discover a love, a worth, a beauty, an identity that He made you for. Because we all were made to be loved. We all were made to be seen, to be known, to be treasured, to be valued, to be enjoyed, to be beautiful. We all were made with these desires in us. And we all have a desire to bring a unique beauty that we are to somebody. And we look for this in human relationships. We look to bring a love and a beauty and enjoyment in people. And just because he made us, until we know it's Him. And we do this all our lives. We look for our happily ever after, for our partner and spouse to be unique and beautiful and desired and treasured and known by them. We look for it with our children and for them to notice. And it's not wrong, but it leaves us short. We look for it in friendships. We look for this in our human achievements and what we can accomplish in our identity. And we look for it in all different places, but they come up short. This need to be beautiful, to be treasured, to bring a satisfaction to somebody. Human relationships, they don't satisfy, they don't come up short, because we are actually, as Judy said last night, we are spirit beings inside of a human body. And only our spirit being creator can satisfy this in us. Only our spirit being creator, human beings, their spirits don't live in our spirit. They cannot accomplish this only the way our spirit being creator can. And so this is a spirit to spirit relationship where we discover that we satisfy somebody, that we bring somebody a unique love. And I was thinking, even all the things that we know about ourselves, that we want someone to see and enjoy, even like our silliness and our weirdness and our quirks about ourselves. We want someone to see it and know it and enjoy us and delight in us. And it's only Jesus, because he made us uniquely for Him. He made us uniquely to bring Him a satisfaction that only we can bring Him. You see, there's no other person on this planet like you. No one else who will ever be born, who has been born, will ever be born, who is you. And He made you for Him. He made you to bring Him a unique beauty, a unique personality, a unique weirdness, a unique love and enjoyment that only you can bring Him. There's a place in His heart only you can fill. No other human being can fill the place in His heart that you were created, that He created you to fill. And He has known about each of us before the foundations of the world. He's waited a long, long time. He's waited a long time to experience you, what you alone can bring Him. He's waited before the foundations of the world to experience you, to know you, to enjoy you, to taste you. And you bring Him a love and beauty that only you could bring Him. No other person in the world can ever bring Him what you alone were created to bring Him. And it says in Song of Solomon, or it says in Psalms 139, that he desires you, thinks about you more than all the grains of sand on this planet. And he gave us a picture because he wants us to understand his fierce desire that he has. And I was thinking about how, like, if you pick up some sand at the beach, can you count the grains of sand in your hand?
No.
It's impossible. Can you count the grains of sand in a bucket? No. A beach? No. The whole world? He says he desires and thinks about us more than the grains of sand on this entire planet. Is there anyone in your world that can desire you more than all the grains of sand on the planet? His desire for us is the fiercest desire that this universe has ever known, and it's for you. It's not the church in whole, it is us individually. It says you. I think about and desire you more than all the grains of sand on this planet. I mean, there's no one that desires us that much. And it's so sweet because he desires what we uniquely bring him. Because we have a unique love and beauty, personality, silliness that only we can bring him. And in Song of Solomon 5:1, thinking about this, I discovered that he desired me this way in 2023. And it was through these verses. And in Song of Solomon, it's 5:1, and it says, I have come to you, my darling bride. You are my paradise garden. And in the footnote, this is the Passion version, and in the footnote it says, his paradise is his bride. We are his paradise garden. We bring him a satisfaction only we can bring him. And I was thinking about, he showed me that he made he made the world, right? And he made the garden. And it was this beautiful garden of paradise, right? And he put Adam and Eve in it to enjoy this paradise garden. But it wasn't his paradise till humans were on it. And he had a relationship, a connection, an enjoyment. He wanted a family. He wanted an intimate love relationship. We are made in his image. He made us for companionship. He made us for the garden relationship. And Adam and Eve had this paradise garden, and they had him that they enjoyed. But that wasn't the world. The garden wasn't his paradise. We were his paradise. And Adam and Eve, we know what happened, right? The enemy came and lied. Did God really say? And they agreed and partnered with their lie, that lie. Doubting that garden relationship, doubting his intentions towards us, doubting his love. And they partnered with the lie, and they went into shame. And they hid from him. His paradise hid from him. Broke his heart. His paradise hid from him. And he had a plan. He had a plan before the foundations of the world, because I believe we never stopped being his paradise garden. We never stopped. And he had a plan before the foundation of the world. And he paid a great price to win back this garden relationship. This garden relationship that he made us for. 1 John 1:7, I think says it so beautifully, that we walk in the light with him and we share unbroken fellowship, because the blood of Jesus continually cleanses us from all sin and unrighteousness. The blood of Jesus has made a way for us to live in unbroken fellowship like the garden. The garden, they had unbroken fellowship. Discovering that you are his paradise garden that satisfies him in a way that only you can satisfy him, filling a place in his heart that only you can fill, makes you the most valuable person on the planet. Because you have something that only you can bring to satisfy the ache in his heart. Jesus just doesn't want us to say a prayer and get our ticket to heaven and then try really hard to do good things for him and perform for him. That's not what his blood bought. He made you, each of you, with a unique identity, a unique purpose that can only be fulfilled with him. You have a unique purpose for this planet, and you have a unique satisfaction that he desires. And we can only fulfill the plan that he's made for us in the garden relationship, in living in union as one, spirit to spirit, just like Judy so beautifully said in Jerusalem, Judy and Jesus' spirits joined as one. And she, as one, has, in partnership with Jesus, has released him, right? We're all here because of that. It's a love connection. This garden relationship is a love connection where we live in union as one. And I discovered this. I remember when I discovered this. It was in March of 2023. I'm going to talk more about that tomorrow. But I discovered this worth and value that I've been looking for all my life. Looking for in a partner, looking for in my achievements, looking for it in being a mom, just all the things in my world that society gives us worth. And when I discovered that I bring Jesus a satisfaction that only I can bring him, it changed everything. And he says in this garden relationship, in Venus Paradise Garden, he says that one look, one glance from our worshiping eyes ravishes his heart, takes his breath away. And I realized that I had and have every day the greatest privilege any human being could ever have is that I get to undo the heart of my king. I get to take his breath away. I get to ravish his heart. I get to turn his head wherever he puts me. When I look at him with trust, when I look at him and I notice something he does for me. He says one glance from our worshiping eyes, one glance from us undoes his heart. And I think about the Garden of Eden and what Adam and Eve in that relationship, how they ministered to him. And how Jesus won back this garden relationship. And now we get to minister to him. We get to minister to him in a way that only each of you can do. I minister to him in a way that only I was created to do. No one can minister to him the way I was created to minister to him. No one can minister to him the way Tracy was created to minister to him. Song of Solomon 4:9. This is the bridegroom king, Jesus talking to us. And he says, for you, so you see it's individual, you individually reach into my heart. With one flash of your eyes, I'm undone by your love. My beloved, my equal, my bride. He names us. He names us of what this Paradise Garden relationship is. He says, you're my beloved. You're my equal. You're my bride. One look from you undoes me. And he says, you leave me breathless. I'm overcome by merely a glance of your worshiping eyes. You know, we all are here because Jesus has taken our breath away, right? He does it time and time again. But we take his breath away. One glance of our worshiping eyes takes the King of Kings' breath away.
Wow.
And he says, I'm overcome by merely a glance of your worshiping eyes, for you have stolen my heart. You have ravished my heart. I'm held hostage by your love, by the graces of righteousness shining upon you. In 6:4, he says, I can't resist these eyes that I adore, overpowered by a glance, my ravished heart undone, held captive by your love. I'm truly overcome. Jesus says, one glance from us, his ravished heart is undone. Brian Simmons looked up the word ravished, and I want to read what it means. He has it in the footnote. It means to tear bark off a tree. Jesus is saying that your loving eyes have worship of it, has uncovered his heart and laid it bare, making him vulnerable to you. What a description of what happens when Jesus looks into your eyes. Your worship brings him such an ecstasy and delight that it becomes hard to imagine. Yet, God has placed inside of us, each of us individually, the ability to ravish the heart of our King, not someday in heaven, but even now when we feel incomplete and weak. This is the greatest ability the human race has. And each of us have this ability. Do you realize every day of your life, doesn't matter what you're doing, every day of your life, he longs for the looks that only you can bring him. He longs for your beautiful eyes to look at him and ravish his heart, to undo him, to take his breath away. The looks of friendship, the looks of, oh, I see you, the looks of, I'm weak, but you're my strength, and we look at him as strength. Whatever it is we're needing throughout our day, and when we look at him and we see him as that, it undoes him. It takes his breath away. And he is longing for the look that only you can give him. I can't give him the looks that you were created to give him. I can't give him that. I can give him mine. Only you can give him the looks that he created you to give him. And that he has waited before the foundations of the world to receive those looks. In your everyday living, he's waited. He can't wait for you to wake up and the looks you're going to give him and how you're going to ravish his heart. He can't wait. He can't wait to experience you in your day. This is what brings meaning and purpose to everyday living. When you realize you're the most valuable person on the planet that can bring Jesus a ministry that only you can minister to his heart, the aches in his heart, the longings in his heart for you, for your weirdness, for your silliness, for the beauty he made you inside and out. And when we look at him, we minister to him, right? But we also get ministered to. So this is a mutual looking and receiving. So when we look at him, he receives from us. We ravish his heart, we take his breath away, but we also get ministered to by him. So it's this ongoing two-way ministry happening. It's a mutual ministry with Jesus. And Psalm 34:5 says, those who look at him are radiant, and they don't blush with shame or confusion. And Jesus showed me in Revelation 1 that there's a verse that says his face is shining like the brightness of the blinding sun. And I think about the sun in the sky and how it is, without the sun, this world would be dead, right? We would be dead. This world needs the nutrients of the sun, of what the light produces. We need the nutrients of Jesus' face. We need his face means his presence, right? So when we look at him throughout our days and receive the nutrients, when we are weak and we look at him as our strength and we receive that light, we receive it, and he ministers his strength to us. We live in union as one. We receive the strength we need, and then we adore him for the strength, and then we ravish his heart, and he ravishes our heart. It's this mutual receiving and ministry back and forth. Whatever it is we need, we look at him and receive it, and we become radiant because we reflect him. We reflect the light and like I was singing this song, Psalm 34. There's a song that says, taste and see, and it says, those who look at him are radiant. And I was singing it, I was driving, and the sun was out, and he's like, look at your face. And my face was so bright from the sun. And he's like, that's what happens when you look at me. You reflect me. I'm like, oh, yeah, that makes sense. Like, I never thought of, when we look at you and receive, we reflect him. It pours out of us. Like Judy, she received the love. She reflected him, and it pours out. It's not just to be for us. It's going to be an outpouring to everybody in our world. It's going to be an outpouring of whatever he's pouring into us. So it's mutual receiving and mutual ministry and receiving back and forth. And it's this is what it is. And then when you realize you get to wake up and receive from him and him receive from you, and wherever he puts you, it is wonderful. It is exciting. It is thrilling to bring him the ministry on this earth by faith that only we were created to bring him, and to receive from him what he has for us. And, there's Song Solomon 116. I feel like it encapsulates this so well. It says, I know my lover. This is the bride saying to Jesus, I know my lover is mine, and in him I have everything, and we delight ourselves in each other. It's mutual delighting, mutual ministering, mutual receiving. It's this back and forth mutual. And it's so funny because in this chapter, what keeps us from this mutual receiving and delighting? What keeps us from living in that garden companionship and unity? And Song of Solomon 2:15 tells us what keeps us from this. Song of Solomon 2:15 says, you must catch the troubling foxes, those sly little foxes that spoil, that hinder our relationship. There's little foxes in our lives that can hinder this mutual receiving and delighting. And it says, they raid our budding vineyard of love to ruin what I planted in you. Remember, we're his paradise garden. He wants to plant and cultivate his love and life and everything he is in us every day. But there's little foxes that ruin it. And then he says, will you catch them and remove them for me? But he doesn't stop there. He says, we will do it together. Together is the key. And so I feel like the Lord wanted me to make a picture of this, to have a visual of, I know the words are small, but these sly little fox in our garden, because we're his paradise garden, there's sly little foxes, and he wanted me to call them troubling thought foxes, because the enemy is whispering or waking us up in the middle of the night with lies, whispering in our mind thoughts that don't agree with who Jesus is and what he says about us and what he says about himself and our circumstances. And if we partner with the lie, they become a life of their own. behind every sin behavior he's been showing me, every behavior I don't like about myself, there's a little fox behind it. There's a wrong belief. There's a lie that I've partnered with that he wants to catch and remove with me. And I'm so focused on the behavior, not the why I'm doing the behavior. And the why is this little fox. Why I'm reacting the way I do, why I do what I don't want to do. There's a troubling little fox that I have partnered with somewhere along the line, or somewhere in my bloodline, or a trauma that's been done to me. There's a wrong belief that I have partnered with that I'm living from, that's rooting him pouring into me and me pouring into him. For me to live in that garden relationship, there's a fox to catch. And we all know what this is, because these foxes have a life of this living thing, this circles in our mind, we have a troubling fox. We have something we can't stop thinking about, and it's torture. It tortures us. These lies, these behaviors we don't like about ourselves. Absolutely, it's a life of its own, and it tortures us. And he's asking us, he's inviting us, will you catch them and remove them from me? And we're going to do it together. And I wrote some things about what the little foxes have been for me. And they can relentlessly play in my mind, and they say, we're not enough. I don't obey God enough. I'm not pretty enough. I'm not thin enough. I'm not healthy enough. I'm not a good enough mom. I'm not a good enough wife. I don't make enough money. There isn't enough money. My kids aren't good enough. They're not doing it good enough. Basically, I'm not enough, or God's not enough. That's one of the big foxes he's been catching with me lately. Also, another fox that he's been catching is replaying my failures over and over again, causing me to live in regret and shame. Another fox he's been catching with me is all the what ifs. What if this happens? What if that happens? Living in fear and anxiety, having a troubled heart, all the what ifs of the future. And then also another fox he's caught with me recently is that causing me to believe that it's up to me to fix myself. It's up to me to fix my children. It's up to me to fix my husband. It's up to me to fix our finances. It's up to me to fix the things in my world or in me that are not what I know it's not his will, that are broken. That it's up to me. That's a fox that he's caught. And we know it says they're called troubling foxes. When we are troubled, when we have a behavior we don't like, or there's something that's troubling us, that means there's a fox to catch with Jesus. There's a fox he wants to go after. The foxes are actually invitations to encounter him, to let him in and remove it and replace it with something. All these troubling foxes, he lets them bubble up because they're invitations, because they ruin his paradise garden. They ruin him planting in us and him receiving from us. They have to fester. It's okay. It's good. It's a good thing if these little foxes are festering. It's good if they're coming out. It's good that he's exposing them and that we're seeing them and that we're troubled, because it's an invitation. It's an invitation to encounter him.
Amen.
Not to shame us. They're invitations. And I thought about, Jesus, why don't you just, why don't you just remove these foxes? Why don't you just zap us from heaven? Why don't you just you're there, you have all the power. Why don't you just take care of it? Why do you have to get through to my thick skull? Why can't you just zap it and make it right? And he's like, I'm not after that. I'm after you.
Yeah.
You're my paradise garden. I want to do it with you. I want to fellowship. I'm after you. I'm not your Santa Claus God that just zaps things and gives you things. I'm after what I created you for, which is fellowship, partnership, unity. I want your company. I want you. Remember, I desire you more than all the grains of sand. I desire you in this weakness. I want to fellowship with you. I want to enjoy you. I want to show you who you really are. I'm after you. And that was an amazing thing. And there's a verse in Song of Solomon 2:13 that I believe really explains this. And it says, Jesus is talking to us, and he says, "My beautiful one, come with me." And it says, basically, talk to me. And it said in the footnote, I looked it up in what it means. It says, Christ's tender compassion to her weakness and fervent desire to converse with her there. He desires to converse with us about our weaknesses, about all the little foxes, more than all the grains of sand. He desires that connection with us and that fellowship with us, that relationship with us talking to him and him talking to us. He desires, and he has, shame tells us to be embarrassed and hide like Adam and Eve. But he says he has tender compassion. He knows why. He knows why we do what we do. He knows why we struggle, why we turn to food. That's for one of mine. He knows why, and he wants to talk with me and show me why, and change that belief that his fullness fills me, and that he satisfies me more than bread. He wants to get to the why. He wants to go to the bloodline and generations where it's been passed down to us. He wants to get to the root. He wants to talk to us, and he wants to fellowship with us. He can't wait, because he made us for this garden relationship. He made us for friendship. He made us for companionship. And another verse that he showed me this is that this fellowship and companionship is where healing happens. Healing and breakthrough and victory in our life does not happen without fellowship with him. He doesn't want to zap it. He wants to do it with us, because we're his paradise garden, and bring him an enjoyment and a relationship only we can bring him, that he's waited before the foundations of the world to experience you in that weakness. And Isaiah 53:5, it says, by his wounds we are healed. And the Passion Translation says, in his wounding is our healing. It says, in the fellowship of being one with him is our healing. In fellowship, in companionship, in relationship, that is our healing, in being one with him. Where we fulfill his heart's desires of our companionship, and he fulfills us. That is where the healing happens. In the oneness, in the fellowship, in the companionship. And when you have this fellowship and companionship, you become one. That's where the unity happens. You become one, I and him and he and me. And this is what Jesus prayed for. This is the garden relationship he prayed and talked to the Father about. This is how Jesus functioned on this planet. He functioned as one with the Father, as a human being. He functioned in this. And it says in John 17:21-22, this is his heart. This is what he desires. Remember, Jesus is at the door. This is what he desires for each of us. And he says, I pray for them. He's praying to the Father. I pray for them all to be joined together as one, even as you and I, Father, are joined together as one. This is what he made us for. I pray for them to become one with us, so that the world will recognize you sent me. This is how he's recognized in us. when we are one. When we receive from him and he receives from us, we reflect his glory. It's released from us. And he says, the very glory you have given me, I have given them, so that they will be joined together as one and experience the same unity we enjoy. This is the garden relationship, realizing we're his paradise and we get to experience the same unity that the Father and Son. We join that unity through the Holy Spirit. The bridal relationship is Father, Son, Holy Spirit. And this is what this is one of the last prayers he prayed on earth. For us to live in this union. And he's telling us every place in our world that we need healing, breakthrough, every place we struggle, every little fox is an opportunity for that union. It's an opportunity for that fellowship. And he says to us, and he says, you are my dove, in Song of Solomon 2:13, when he says, my beautiful one, come with me and talk to me, right? That tender compassion to our weakness and fervent desire to converse with us there. He says, because you're my dove, hidden in the split open rock. And that's a reference to Isaiah 53:5. And the fellowship of being one with him is our healing. You are my dove, and we get to see ourselves hidden and covered in his blood and his righteousness in this unity. We see ourselves hidden in him, and we see ourselves righteous as he is righteous, covered by the blood, living in unbroken fellowship. And he says, it was I who took you to the secret stairway of the sky. And he says, let me see your radiant face. And you bring him a face. You bring him a spirit in your face that only you can bring him. Let me see your face. It's radiant because you look at me and you become radiant. And he says, how beautiful your eyes of worship and lovely your voice in prayer. And he says, let me see your radiant face and hear your sweet voice. And you know what voice means? Delicious. Mm-hmm. We all have a unique voice. Mm-hmm. We all have a voice that brings him a deliciousness, a sweetness, a satisfaction that only we can bring him. We bring him a flavor that we were created to bring him. Our voice brings him a flavor that only we can bring him. No other human can bring him the flavor and the deliciousness that he has desired before the foundations of the world to taste. We taste him, he tastes us. Mm-hmm. He satisfies us, we satisfy him. And we do this through fellowship. Song of Solomon begins with let him. And he says in the footnote, we don't begin by doing, by performing, we begin by letting him be everything to us. Mm-hmm. And then Song of Solomon starts, it says, let me smother you with kisses, my spirit kiss divine. So kind are my caresses, I want you to drink them in like the sweetest wine. We have to let him in and let him kiss us. And I made a picture of what this kiss looks like because, as Judy so beautifully explained, this is our spirit. And it says it's a spirit-to-spirit kiss. So this is me. It's a spirit-to-spirit kiss. And it says let him. We have to let him kiss us. So his spirit kisses my spirit. And what is this kiss? It says in the footnote, the word of God, him speaking to us, right? Connecting to him speaking to us. The word of God is a kiss from the mouth of our beloved, breathing upon us a revelation of his love. Mm-hmm. When he kisses us, like Judy explained her kiss, she had a revelation of his love that her spirit received that she didn't even know was possible. He says, let me in. Let me kiss that weakness. Let me kiss that little fox. Let me show you what you're believing, and let me breathe a revelation of my love and truth of who I am and who I made you to be. Let me encounter you in your weakness. Let me encounter you with that little fox. Bring that little fox to me. Let me kiss it. Let me smother it with my kisses. And I believe these kisses awaken our spirits to the love we were made for. It awakens our spirits. And it says in Song of Solomon, it says, no one speaks to me like this one, so anointed. No one speaks to us. No human can speak to us and kiss us the way he does, our spirits. And it says that words that both pierce and heal. You see, when he smothers you, when he gives you a kiss, it pierces the little fox. It pierces the lie. It pierces the generational curse. It pierces the shame, and it heals it. All at once. All at once. Just like Judy talked about, she was washed with all of that. Like it was gone. He washed her. He pierced it and then heals it. That's what kisses do. Spiritual kisses do. They pierce and heal. I want to go on, and if you guys are okay to go a little longer, I want to share what some kisses have been in my life. Okay. So, I remember my first kiss from him, and I want to back up to what led me to this first kiss, and it was 30 years ago, but I remember it like it was yesterday. And there were a lot of troubling foxes in my world that up to this point had not been pierced and healed yet. Because as I talked about, every human, we all desire to be seen, deeply known, enjoyed, treasured, enjoyed, right? All of us desire that. And as a little girl, I desired to be beautiful to somebody. I desired to be seen and known and enjoyed. And the adults in my world didn't know how to give that to me. Right? And so I didn't receive that in my world. And so at a young age, I became very boy crazy. And I looked for this from boys. People can look through it through their achievements, right? There's all different ways that we look for this need to be beautiful, to satisfy somebody. We all look for it in different ways. I looked at it for boys. So I was boy crazy, looking for any attention. I wanted someone's attention, right? I wanted to be beautiful to somebody, but that led me down a road where I was pregnant at 16, raped at 16, pregnant at 17, married at 18, entering into a relationship in my first marriage where I just was holding on to him just to love me, letting him treat me in ways I shouldn't have let him treat me. But I just wanted to be loved. I wanted to be secure. I wanted to be seen and beautiful. And I met Jesus when I was 5. I grew up in a Pentecostal church, but I didn't understand how to know him, how to receive and him to receive. I tried to be really good for him. I tried to obey all the Christian rules, and I failed miserably, obviously. And I did not do a good job. And here I am married, and I was at church. I would have peace at times with my mentors, my spiritual moms. I would have peace. I would go to conferences and have peace. But I in my early 20s was the most miserable Christian I knew. I honestly felt like I struggled with depression, and I had a little boy who kept me going. He kept me going. My son. It was the best thing that happened to me. Stop drinking. I just, like, for him. I couldn't do it for me, but I could do it for him. And I went to my mentor's house, and I laid on the floor in their prayer room, and I said, Jesus, there has to be more. I am the most miserable Christian I know. And I only feel you at church. I only feel you with my mentor. There has to be more. And when I left that night, my mentor at that time, she handed me a biography called Reese Howells Intercessor. And I started reading this biography, and I would just weep because this man had this connection with Jesus I hadn't seen. He was receiving from Jesus and Jesus was receiving from him. He was having this intimate relationship with God through the word. And I'm like, this is so beautiful. And then he partnered with Jesus and I in intercession. He partnered with the heart of God. And I saw prayer in a way I'd never seen. And I believe he and Jesus changed World War II with Hitler. And I saw that and I'm just like, I don't see this. Is this for today? Is this intimacy? I don't even see this in this Pentecostal church. I just see us all trying really hard to do good for you. And I didn't even know how to articulate it, but it created this hunger, what I saw with he had with Jesus. And it wasn't that long ago. I'm like, well, maybe it's not just for today. Maybe that was, but then some friends from church invited me to a women's Bible study. And that lady, the first time I went, I'm like, she's Reese House. She's Reese House. She has this intimate connection with you just like he did. She receives from you and she gives you and you speak to her through the word. She doesn't read it to be a good Christian and get good information and look up just the meanings. You speak to her. Oh my, what is this? I was just like, was so excited. It was life. It was life to my hungry soul. And she would say, girls, my goal isn't to get you attached to me, but to Jesus. That's my goal. And I'm like, okay. Because my mentors, I was attached to them. I had to go to them to get words from God. I didn't know how to get words myself. They had to tell me what God was saying to me in my life, in my circle. And so I was just coming along. I was so excited. And it was a small church we were going to, and there was a bunch of us women going. And the pastor got word of what he thought she was teaching and didn't agree with it. And he had a meeting with all of us women and our husbands and all the elders of the church. And he said, I've got wind of what this Bible study's teaching. I think it's cultish. And if you want to keep going to this church, you have to stop going to this Bible study. I was like, are you kidding me? She's Reese House. You just have to, I'm like, she's like, are you kidding me? And my husband at the time looked at me and he's like, are you in a cult? And I'm like, no, it's living water. And he's like, you have to stop going. And I would obey him because I was scared of him. I was scared of his temper. And I'm like, I'm not stopping. It's life. It's life. I'm not going to stop. And only 3 of us, 20 women, kept going. But that was a little fox that needed to be exposed. And it was the best thing that happened to me. Because I went to Jesus and I brought him my little fox of not believing he could speak to me. And I remember I was 8 months, almost 9 months pregnant with my son Gabriel. He's almost going to be 30 this year. And I remember sitting in this chair at my parents' house. We're living with my parents, 2 children, and I'm sitting there, and this lady introduced me to Oswald Chambers, Andrew Murray, Charles Spurgeon, Madame Guyon, just all of these old, and I was just eating them up. I was so hungry, but I was living off their experience. I was living off my Bible study. And I just sat there, and this was my little fox of Jesus, can you speak to me, right? It got bubbled up, right? It was the best thing that happened to me. And I was sitting there, I was reading, I would just read the devotional and look up the words. And that morning I said, can you speak to me like you did to Reese House? Can you speak to me like you did to Kim? Can I have that relationship with you? And I read 1 John 2:27. And it says, you don't need a man to teach you. It's the Holy Spirit who teaches you. And when he teaches you, you abide in him. You become one. You live in him. You live through him. And I just sat there. I just sat there sobbing. And I realized now it was a kiss, and my spirit awakened in a way it had never awakened before that morning. My spirit received a love and a being seen and in a connection to Jesus I had never experienced, and I was awakened. My spirit I was saved and I knew a lot about him, but my spirit received the kiss, and I was awakened. And I remember like the words jumped off the page and went right into my spirit, and something in me came alive. Like I didn't even know my spirit could feel that was alive in me. I didn't even know, and I was awakened. And I found this verse in Song of Solomon that I feel like describes the kiss and what happened that day so beautifully. And this is the bride saying, and she says, Song of Solomon 5:4, my beloved reached into me and unlocked my heart. The core of my being trembled at his touch. How my soul melted when he spoke to me. My spirit arose to open for more of his touch. I opened my soul to my beloved. That was the morning, that was the day my soul opened to my beloved and began this journey of becoming like the most felt seen lady on this planet. I could not wait to wake up and get a kiss. I'm like, he could speak to me, and he started pulling out a lot of troubling foxes. Like he started, and I didn't have the language for it. I just knew I wanted that connection with him. I knew that's began my relationship. It wasn't in a church. That my relationship with the Holy Spirit began when he showed me the Holy Spirit. Even though I heard people say that, I discovered the Holy Spirit. I discovered that I could spend time with him, and every morning I would read the word till I was kissed, and he would expose a lie. He would expose something, and he would pierce it and heal it with his love. He started showing me how he sees me. I couldn't wait every morning to wake up and be with him, and every day since then. And I wanted to share a few more kisses that just show what this is, because this is for each of us. He's had kisses he's been waiting to kiss me with before the foundations of the world. He has kisses for you that are only for you, that he's been waiting to kiss you, spirit to spirit, before the foundations of the world. And the troubling foxes are the invitation for the kiss. Whatever you're struggling with, that is where he wants to meet you and speak to you and kiss you and show you where it came from. And it's not the behavior. He wants to get to the root. He wants to get to the belief. And he's been doing this with me for 30 years. Okay, let's go back. Words that pierce. So it's so interesting. Once this started happening, the relationship, it was me and him. It didn't have it. Church was good, but it was me and him every morning. I couldn't wait to wake up. I couldn't wait to have, and it's so funny because a couple years into it, my husband at the time, he sat me down. He was really upset with me about something. I don't know what I did, which happened a lot. And he's like, I need to talk to you. I know you're having an affair. You're having an affair. And I'm like, are you kidding me? You know where I am all the time. I'm at home with kids. Like, are you kidding me? And he's like, you're having an affair with Jesus. And I'm like,
Wow.
guilty as charged. And I'm like, yes, I am. Like, I have fallen in love with him, and he's in a way I didn't know was possible. He called it out, and he was mad. He was so mad at me. He was so mad because I was changing. I wasn't doing the same things with him. I wasn't wanting to watch the movies. I was changing. I wasn't trying to change. I was falling in love. I was getting kissed like I'd never been kissed before. I wasn't trying. And it was like, just like he was mad, and I didn't even say anything. I didn't even know what to say. But inside I'm like, yeah. That's what's happened. I fell in love in a way I didn't know I could be loved and love. And like these, and he would kiss me, and there's like all of these I just didn't even know. And so part of there's every day, I mean, I could give you hundreds. I have journals full of these kisses. journals full. And this marriage, like we were in ministry together, and I was believing for this marriage. We were together, we were married 17 years together, 20 years, and things happened where there were possible more affairs. I confronted him, but then he told me I was insecure and I had to prove that I could trust him, and he'd come and go as he pleased. And I tried to do it, but I failed. And one day he came to me and he said, I'm done. I'm leaving you. And he had a list of like 30 reasons of how I hadn't measured up as a wife. And I won't go into detail because I know love's going after my ex-husband. And he's going after him. But something in me snapped, and I'm like, okay, I let you go. I've given you everything I am, and I know I haven't done it right, all right. And I let him go, and the next morning, the biggest, smushiest kiss came from Jesus, because I had a 16-year-old, a 15-year-old, and an 11-year-old. I had a little cleaning business, and I was a church secretary, and I had no idea what I was going to do. We had bought a house with my parents' house payment, and like my whole world, I think I was so afraid of this happening. And the little fox, I'm not enough, God's not enough, what's going to happen? And that morning, Psalm 46:1 jumped off the page and kissed me and smothered me, and it says, God, Jesus is my ever-present help in trouble, in this troubling fox. Even if the mountains fall into the sea, even if your whole world crashes, he will be my ever-present help. And he's like, I'm your help right now. I'll be your help tomorrow. I'll be your help. My help is for right now. Let me help you. Let me in. Believe I'm your help. Even though one of your worst nightmares happened and crashed into the sea, I'm going to do this with you. And I framed that verse and put it in my kitchen. And every day I let him re-kiss me. And that's the thing with these kisses. He'll re-kiss you with it. When the doubting little fox tries to come up, he'll re-kiss you. And I just let him re-kiss me. Ever-present help in trouble. And I said, I don't have to fear. I don't have to fear this because he's my... And so I would just let him... every time I'm fearful, he would just kiss me. I can even remember for him to kiss me. He just comes. He just comes when that fear would come. With that kiss, ever-present help in trouble. I don't have to fear. And he led me I worked part-time. I went to school full-time. He led me where to go and what to do. I wanted to go in the medical field and give back for what my son, that was another kiss, but I'm not going to share it. My oldest son had an accident. He almost died when he was 6, hit by a truck. Jesus kissed me through that whole thing. And we were at Children's Hospital a very long time, and I wanted to go back there. I felt called to go back there in the medical field, and he led me through it all. Ever-present help, kissed me through it all. But there was still this need in me. I didn't understand yet that I brought him a satisfaction that only I could bring. I didn't understand that I took his breath away yet. And so I quickly went on to eHarmony, met this bodybuilder guy who was a pastor, and I just let him sweep me off my feet. And I was just enthralled by him. He was, in my mind, my dream guy and a pastor, but he also had some beliefs that I agreed with him and my flesh. And he told me that he believed in the Bible that if you make a commitment to a woman and take her into your tent, so to speak, that you're making a covenant before God, and it's okay to be intimate outside of marriage because you're making a covenant with God. And I was so physically, like, I'm like, sounds good to me. Like, I just, like, it's terrible. It was terrible, but that's where I wanted, like, this man saw me in a way my ex-husband hadn't, and I felt so beautiful to him. And he complimented me, and I was just swept away into that. And Jesus still kissed me through that whole time, even though I was hiding. And you guys, people couldn't believe the favor I had at school. I applied for different scholarships while I'm being unfaithful to Jesus. I got every single scholarship, and people were like, I've never seen this before. I was like at the top of my class, a single mom, working part-time, going to school full-time. I had like the favor of God on my life, but I was so unfaithful. And I would spend time with him, and he kept telling me, this isn't who you are. And he was showing me, and he was so gentle, but I would go back. And this one morning, so our joke was, when we wanted to be intimate, was going to the tent, right? And one morning, I was having my time with Jesus in my devotional, running on my he still kissed me. And this one morning, this kiss came where Psalm 84, and I was just reading, I would look up the verses, and it talked about how his presence is, how wonderful, David was saying, how wonderful is your presence, how amazing your presence is, and that when we're in your presence, we're singing your songs. And he said, you've lost your song. And I'm like, oh, I have. Because people knew me, I was a singer. Like, it just flowed out of me. And then it goes down further, and it says, one day in his courts, at a doorkeeper in his presence, one day, and we have been together almost 3 years, for like 1,000 days, right? One day in your presence is better than 1,000 days in the tent of wickedness. It pierced and healed. One day in his presence is better than 1,000 days in that tent. And I surrendered that relationship. That's what a kiss did it. Not people telling me, what are you doing? Who are you? I felt that, and I would try to listen to people, but it was his kiss in my rebellion that pierced it and healed it. And he was churning. He was like working on me the whole time. People couldn't believe my favor in the whole time. And even getting into children's, they weren't taking externs, but my gal the instructor, she's like, I'm gonna make a phone call for you. And I got in, and I had 2 job offers in this relationship, being in the tent, because he sees us as his bride. He sees us already righteous in everything that we are, and he's helping us grow up into it. He's helping us become it, but we have to bring him the foxes to pierce and heal it. We have to receive the kiss. And I just want to share, because these are like big kisses, and I want to share a few little kisses, and then we're going to end, of something that has a little fox that started in me at a young age, where my father loved me with food and sweets. So I began a wrong relationship with food at a really young age, where when I was upset, my dad would buy me ice cream or give me candy. Like, he would come home from work, and it wasn't like a hug or I love you. I never remember spending time with him alone, but he had candy, he had treats, and that's how he loved me, was through food and goodies. And I now see the Lord's expose this box, right? So I've turned to food for comfort, but then I started gaining weight, in my early years. And then boys would tell me, you would be so much prettier if you were thinner. Like, if you would lose that stomach, oh my goodness. And so then this body image thing happened, but food was my comfort. So then this relationship, and I now know it was like an anorexic, and I didn't even know what it was. You don't even know these labels or what these things are called. You just would stop eating when a boy makes a comment. You don't eat, and then you start losing weight, and then you feel more beautiful, but then you turn to food and you binge. And so this has been going on since early in my childhood, this fox. And this fox picture, and I don't like myself. And so recently, I still struggle with turning to food for comfort. And I get so mad at myself because I know better. I know even after becoming his bride, I know I satisfy him and he satisfies me. And I have so much shame around this issue in my life where even now I will overeat when I know he's like invited me to come to him. And he showed me in this fox, he showed me in this Isaiah 53:5 verse, that in the fellowship of being one with him is my healing. He says, I want you to stop performing, stop trying to not sin. I want your fellowship. In the fellowship of being one with me is that you're going after, but you're doing it apart from me. You're trying so hard. I want to do it with you. Fellowship with me is the goal. And from that, fruit and self-control will flow out. From that fellowship. When you're tempted, fellowship with me. If you turn to it, if you do sin, fellowship with me. I have compassion to your weakness, and I have a fervent desire to show you why you did that. And I want to show you who I am in you in that. And then he started showing me so fellowship is the goal. It's a win-win. If I'm tempted and I fellowship and I talk to him and then I receive from him and then he receives from me, it's a win. If I do that and I fellowship with him and I look at him and he showed me even his forgiveness in Psalm 103, the Passion, it says, he kisses my heart with forgiveness in spite of all I've done. I still get a kiss. Mm-hmm. He wants to kiss it. Mm-hmm. And then he wants me to adore his forgiveness and adore his blood. And then I minister to him and I take his breath away as I look and adore his forgiveness and I adore his blood and I adore that I'm the righteousness of God. Even my performance doesn't make me righteous. He makes me righteous. And I look at him as my righteousness. And then he's even taken it a step further where even like a couple weeks ago, or a month ago, I had like 3 bad nights of binging. And I know this, of turning to food. And he took it even further. And he showed me, he kissed me with Psalm 37:5. And he says that, it says in Psalm 37:5, it says, he brings forth my righteousness as the light. Mm-hmm. And he said to me, he said, did you help me rise that sun today? Did your performance bring forth the sun today? No, you did that by yourself. You caused the sun to rise by yourself. And he's like, I am your righteousness. I am your righteousness, as sure as the sun rises. Not your performance, me. And when you believe I'm your righteousness, you'll act righteous. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I'm getting to the belief that you don't believe you're righteous. Mm-hmm. And that was a little fox that's been in there. That my performance makes me righteous. He pierced that fox and he healed it. As sure as the sun rises, without my help, I am the righteousness of God. He who became sin for us, he who knew no sin became sin for us, that we might become. We are the righteousness of God. And then he showed me in Song of Solomon, the Shulamite says, righteousness adores you. He's like, adore me as my righteousness. And I just sat there. That whole morning was adoring him as the righteousness of God. And I ravished his heart in a new way. I took his breath away in a new way as his righteousness and adoring him and receiving that and him receiving from me. But it was a kiss that both pierces the live fox, gets to the root, and heals. Fellowship. It was fellowship. And when I believe I'm righteous, I will act righteous. Yeah. We only can be what we believe we are. And he has kissed me in so many ways around this. And that morning, and every morning, I love the sun rising because I'm the righteousness of God as sure as the sun rises. I'm the righteousness of God. Not my performance. And righteousness adores him, and I receive his righteousness, and I adore him as righteousness. And it's just like every day is so exciting to wake up, to receive and minister to him, and him minister to me, and me take his breath away, and he chooses where I take his breath away. He chooses where we get to be his bride. And so I want to end with, I believe you guys all, I'm so thankful, thank you. And Tammy, I'll have a picture for you. But Jesus wanted me to end, and I just see him at the door, that vision. He wants to kiss you in your little fox. He wants to speak to you. He wants to pierce and heal whatever is troubling your heart. Whatever belief that causes behavior, wherever you shame. I was going to read this verse. It says that he leaps in joy. It says in Song of Solomon, he leaps with joy over the mountains, over the walls that separate us from him. He wants to leap into you. He wants to leap into every fear, every shame, every regret, every place where you have to fix it, every what if. He wants to leap. He says he leaps with joy. He wants that fox and to remove it. He has compassion. He desires to converse with you. He leaps in love over the shame. And so he wanted me to make a picture of each of you receiving a spiritual kiss. So I have a picture of each of you. And Tammy, it's coming. I didn't know you were coming. And it's through ChatGPT. He showed me how to do this. I'm sorry if some of the pictures, him and I did this together, and it was so sweet. I felt his excitement. Making this picture, he's so excited to kiss you, and for you to see all the places he's already kissed you, and to know. I just felt like when I was making this picture, and I'd have to do it sometimes 20 times to try and get it what it looked like you, because ChatGPT changes him and changes you, but that's how he's so relentless, and I just felt his excitement for you to know what's happening, and for him to awaken you and unlock you and come into all the places that you are of shame, all the places you have doubt. I just felt his excitement for you to receive this and for you to understand what's happening. And so I want you, as you use the questions, I want you to look at this and receive what he has for you. Because this is what he has, and it's his spirit kissing your spirit. It's his spirit waking you and kissing you, and you are awakened to a love and a beauty and a worth. And he says, and one of the things, the other thing he showed me about, he says with this about my beauty, I was on this weight loss journey, and he told me to stop losing weight. And I was taking this GLP, and I was losing my appetite. It was great. And he's like, I want you to, the little fox, that your beauty is tied to a number. And he showed me in Song of Solomon, he says, you are beauty itself to me. You are on a journey of believing I am beauty itself to him. I'm not on a weight loss journey. And we're taking care of our body, because he showed me that this body is actually our body. Because he lives in it. It's both of our bodies. And we're taking care of it together. And I'm on a journey. I'm no longer on a weight loss journey. I'm on a journey of believing I'm beauty itself. And it's like I melt. Like I feel his enjoyment over me. I feel his delight over me of the beauty he made me. And this is what I've been looking for my whole life. And I've had this little fox that's kept me from receiving that, of thinking that my beauty's tied to a number on a scale. And it's just it's amazing. And he has, for each of you, a spiritual kiss. This weekend, I believe you're supposed to receive.
That's you right there.
Yeah, it's Tracy. So you guys,
it's Tracy.
yeah.
I thought it was Pat.
No, it's Tracy.
Tracy. Oh,
Pass it around and find your picture.
Oh my God, that's so cool.
Find your picture of you. You're in there, and I am so sorry, Tammy.
No, but you didn't know I was gonna come.
I know, and there's a few of you where 2 of them I felt like for you there's 2, and for you there's 2, because I couldn't, I'm like, and I hadn't met you yet to know what you look like, but and so there's a couple where there's just two. But will you let him? That's what I felt like the invitation. Are you going to let him in the door? You know, are you going to let him? Are you going to let him smother you? Let him pierce that fox, that belief, and heal. So,
Can I say something?
yes, please.
So, when I read through the Bible and I read about the foxes, I always